don't wait to like love yourself until like later on when you have clear skin. Love yourself for showing up, for doing the work now. Appreciate that person that's doing all the legwork for you so that you can enjoy it in the future. And I think to me that helps me put into perspective like this, where I am right now, and to love the person that I am right now without the result that I am still waiting for.
Welcome to another Real Skin, Real Journey. Today we have Cici, a past client from the Clear Skin Solution, who's going to dive in, support all those beautiful mindset connections. Cici, when we started meeting together and working together and doing all that, because you extended your time and you really delve into yourself. One thing I just wanted to say is when I recommended you to be on, because coaches can do that, they can recommend to be on here. It took us a little while to get here because of the schedules and all our schedules. However, I'm so excited you're here today because you have a story that is so deep. It touches our hearts. It's similar to what other people experience. And I just want to thank you for your bravery to come on, because a lot of the time it's this confidence that we don't hold, that we don't have, that we don't understand. So if you're open to it and we can go into a little bit of that mindset and go into your journey, I would greatly appreciate it. What better way to start 2025?
Yes.
When you came into the program, what was going on? What were you experiencing? How was life?
First of all, I just wanted to say thank you so much for having me here. I really appreciate it. You guys are incredible. I love this program. So I just want to start off with that. What was life like? Life was a roller coaster. I didn't realize how much I was in survival mode until I was in the program. And the program has helped me to just kind of step out and just observe your life, from another point of view without being in it. And, looking back, like, I didn't realize how crazy my life was. I was so stressed out. And, like what I said, it was just complete survival mode. And acne was just a symptom of that, of all the internal things that were happening inside of me.
It's such a powerful realization, I think, where we're always thinking, oh, something I'm eating is causing my acne. It's got to be something I'm eating. And when you start to really peel back those layers, like in your case, Cici, it wasn't something that you were eating. It was these deeper rooted, whether it's a trauma, whether it's, emotional disturbances, it was really just coming out through your skin. And I think this is such a important thing to note, is that our acne isn't going to be just a symptom of, say, just the microbiome or just your hormones or just that, but our mental and emotional well-being has such a profound impact on our skin. And I think that's something that's so easily overlooked. And when it gets overlooked, it doesn't get supported properly.
Cici will be the first to attest. When she came in, she had like a pristine skincare regime. I mean,
on point, like on point.
to the time of the day, right? It was like, and her foods and what she was consuming, this wasn't her first rodeo. Like, she came in eating clean. And I remember it was just that aha moment when we kind of peeled back a few things. And this is like months and months and months in. And I got a response, and it was like, I've been doing everything for acne, not realizing, even though you say it, but it's clicking, even though that's the symptom. So what was that aha moment for you, Cici, when you were like, hey, I'm eating clean because, oh my gosh. Like, Katie, we always say people come in and they think they're eating clean. No, heck's not. Like, she has it down.
Yeah, Cici was eating clean and like for Cris to say that, that's saying something, because Cris
approved.
Cris will even go through what I eat in a day and be like, what's going on here? Like, she will pinpoint those little things. So for her to say, no, this girl was eating clean, like that's a big thing.
Yeah, so absolutely. And the water and the hydration and, just even some of that, like not in the mindset as in mindset, like we're deepening it, but, maybe some minor journaling or like, so Cici, is it fair to say like you knew what you needed to do by concept?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so once we took the concepts, once we started elevating that, how did that start working for you?
Yeah, so just want to go back a little bit to that idea of clean eating, right? So just to give people a little bit of a concept or context of like what I was doing, I've done it all. I've done absolutely everything. And one thing I remember thinking, seeing the protocol and being like, really? This is going to do something for me? Like, this is kind of a piece of cake. Like, what do you mean? Right? Like, but one thing that I've learned is that, it's one thing to be eating clean and doing all the right things, like taking out gluten and dairy and sugar and all of that. But it's a whole other thing to be eating specifically for what your body needs. That's where it started making some changes. Like coming into the program, I already felt good. Like I had energy, I had bowel movement. I didn't have like crazy cramps or that people were talking about. I didn't understand those things. But so I thought I would never feel like even better than I was. Like I was already feeling great. But once we started eating specifically for what my needs were, because clearly I have acne, there's stuff that I was needing. I felt even better than I already had. And the biggest touch point, I guess, that it like touched on was like my mind. Like I just felt so clear in my mind. Just eating specifically for what your body needs. And once you start like feeding that and like what your body was like lacking, then you unlock all these other things, right? So to me, it was the mindset and being able to look inward and fix other stuff that was, that kept me stuck in my life, which spills over to like the health, lifestyle, wellness aspect of it, if that makes sense.
Cici is that client that comes equipped. When I say challenges, everybody, let's get our like perspective hat here. Challenges the setup, challenges the process, challenges the information in a beautiful way because she also came educated. So now I have a weapon in front of me almost, right? I have this little grenade waiting to go off in a very good way. You know what I mean?
A good grenade.
No, but it's a grenade as in like, I need to uplevel the way I'm going to coach you. I need to provide information. Education is how Cici wanted to be coached at this point because she knew again, it's all about the connectors. It's why are these minerals out? What do they do in support? And then I wouldn't hear from her for a couple of days. And then what would happen? She'd come back and she'd be like, I get it. And she would paraphrase certain things. And I'm like, why are you not a nutritionist?
Yes, Cici, do you want a job?
And I just want to say, it's not that, but that like grenade-like analogy I'm using is this can also send you down a rabbit hole, right? Cici, can you just talk about when you've done everything and you still have acne and you are equipped and you have the information, what does that do to the psyche, or what does that do to your energy, or what does that do to yourself when you're trying to understand why I want you, like, oh, really? I have to eat like that? Like, already doing it. How's this going to help?
I think that quality it's a double-edged sword, right? It's a good thing, but at the same time, I feel like it's a trauma response, right? When you are like someone who's been trained to just fetch for yourself, do things your own, right? Like it's a survival almost thing. Like sometimes I come at Cris and it's like, I'm sorry. I'm like this tiger, but it's not. Like, it's just you feel like you have to be watching out for yourself. And the thing is, that is a good thing. You need to be able to advocate for yourself and, know what you're doing. But sometimes it comes with a cost. And the cost in my end was it kept me in that survival mode. Like when you're healing, you just that is healing, right? Like you just accept things as they are. Like, yes, you're working on it, but you accept things as they are. I remember Cris made this observation at one point, and I would have this great progress, and then I would get so super fixated on something. Like, why aren't we doing this? Or what about this? Like, I would get so fixated on that. And then I would go down the rabbit hole and then my skin would flare up. So that was my body just saying like, okay, like, I guess we're back to survival mode. Like, we're going to fight. And whenever I fight, my skin would flare up. And that's the nice thing about being in the program, I guess. Like, I guess this is more for people that's in the program. Um, Remember that that is the benefit of being in the program. You no longer have to fight. You have these incredible women right beside your side, you're beside you, and they know what they're doing. And all you have to do is turn off that brain and just work. And that is a blessing. You know, it's acne sufferers, like, I don't know, I've lost count of how much books I've read, how much YouTube videos I've watched, how much time I have spent doing those things. And you just need to trust the process and just follow it, because they do know what they're doing. And just allow yourself to just breathe through it, have compassion, patience, kindness as you're going through the protocol.
That was so beautiful, Cici. The fact that you said you don't have to fight anymore, like, it actually brought tears to my eyes, because I think whether you come from a background where you've had to fight for so long, or because of your skin, it's so easy to like hold on to that, because it's almost like it makes you feel safe, right? When you're fighting for something and you're taking control of something, you feel safe. So it's almost like we have these like subconscious reflexes that automatically jump to the fight mode, because that's how we stay safe. But I love that you said that you don't have to fight anymore.
Yeah, and when you're fighting, you're not healing, right? And you just sabotage all the work, like, all the work that they're handing out to you, all the work that you've done. You just gotta trust the process and do it.
Like Cris and I were talking earlier before we started recording, is our company's so big on transparency, right? Where we never want to make a health journey seem like it's so easy, where it's linear A to B. You take this probiotic, you eat this salad, and oh my gosh, all of your issues are going to be gone in 4 weeks, because that's not the case. And I think when I see those types of posts on Instagram where they're promising these massive results in 6 weeks to clear skin, whatever it may be, it sets so many women up for failure and impacts their mindset in such a detrimental way that they think that if they don't clear their skin in 6 weeks, that there's something wrong with them. When in fact, it's not like there's a magic number of, okay, you hit this time and your skin's magically cleared. So I think anytime we can be so transparent on the journey and show different types of journeys, it's just such a beautiful thing, because it gives women who are in your shoes, in your type of journey, it gives them hope.
If you don't mind, I'd love to, like, just along those lines, I wrote this down because I think it was one of those profound moments that I had in Clear Skin. Sorry, I'm getting emotional. But
you know, if you start crying, Cici, Katie's gonna follow.
Yeah, I will cry, and then Cris will take pictures of me crying, and then it's a whole thing.
No, but this is one of the breakthroughs I had when I was in the program. You know, as acne sufferer, we don't realize, but we self-abandon when it gets tough. And that shows when, you know, you look at yourself in the mirror and you say to yourself, you're so freaking ugly, or you're just never, you're never good enough. That's why it's never going to come out. Like, it's during those times that when it's tough, you abandon yourself. But really, when it gets tough, that's when our body and our mind is like begging us to just stick it out, hold my hand, like, be with me in this whole process. When it's tough, stick with me, show me that I can trust you, right? And when we hold the fort down over and over again, then our body and our mind learn to start trusting us. Then it's that we are safe, that it's safe to heal, right? And you need to create that safety, that you're not going to self-abandon when things get tough. And when you have that safety, I think that's when your body starts to heal and just trust you. And yeah, like, I haven't fully healed my acne, but I feel like even to this day, I'm actually on the 10th week of the gut microbial program. I am seeing more changes. Like, yes, it's not fully clear yet, but I understand it's because for me, it's layers. There's so many layers. But now I don't self-abandon. I don't just say this is crappy and I'll just quit. I just say, okay, like, I have that relationship with myself now. Like, yes, this is really tough, but I'm not going to let you go. I'm going to stick it out with you, and we're going to figure this out together. And someday, I know for a fact, someday I will have that incredible clear skin like Katie does. But for now, my job is to stick it out, to stick with myself and to keep doing what I need to do.
That was so well said, Cici. And I think for you, you've had such a beautiful journey because the other day I was looking at the photos when you first started and the most recent ones we have, which I think were from August possibly. And even those photos, while you still do have some acne, when I looked between the two, there was such a drastic difference between the photos you had when you came in and your most recent set. Like the inflammation was drastically less. You even had more even tone. The breakouts were less. So while you're still in the process of getting to, that clear skin that you want, you've had such massive shifts in your skin. And aside from your skin, you also had massive shifts in your mindset. And I know when we're looking at it, we're like, okay, our skin is the goal. But for you, I'm actually so excited for these mindset shifts that you have, because these are so, so powerful for your life as a whole, right? It's like you have these two incredible wins that you have. And I think when people look at it, they're like, oh, mindset, like, okay, whatever. But when you shift your mindset and you start thinking differently, every single aspect of your life improves. So for you, it's just, I'm so excited for you, like from the bottom of my heart. Like it just excites me so much.
I made a little bit of a different observation. Of course, I see skin.
Of course,
I saw that acne for sure. Yeah, the pores, everything else, everything's coming together. The coloration, even between the neck. Yes, the hair, the quality, the structure. Cici, what I saw in August was this glow in your eyes. And people are like, what are you talking about, Cris? And the coaches get trained with this too, but I'll open up pictures when we're in team and I'll say, what do we see? What do we see? What do we see? And I say, you missed the major point across the board. Come out of the skin. Cici, just like, how I coach you and I say, let's get out of the skin for a second. Where do you feel that emotion? What's holding on? Who in your life is part of that emotion? Like, and we would just kind of break it like that. So in coaches, I say, don't miss and overlook the eyes, because it shows clarity. It shows zest. When you came in, I could see, we call it cycles of pain and self-destruction. And why I even use that coin phrase is because you've said it. These are your words specifically. And maybe later I can share a little blurb that you wrote that I had kept, because it sums up absolutely everything that we're talking about. The difference here is your eyes have glow, they have zest, they have life. And you can see that is coming through. That is the beauty of everybody. Do you ever walk by somebody on the street and they naturally put their head down, or they pretend that they're looking at some kind of bird? It's that avoidance. It's that whatever, it's uncomfortable. These are the same types of things. So as you're looking in the mirror and as you're walking through that journey and as you understand, instead of avoiding the mirror, we need to look into the mirror. We need to say, why don't we start with good morning? When I get into team chats or I'm talking to people or I'm on a phone call, I say, hello, good morning. But you see what I'm saying? Why are we not waking up in the morning for the people who have acne, saying good morning to themselves, appreciating the fact that there's another person willing? When you look in the mirror, please wake up in the morning, say good morning to yourself, because you've nailed it. You are not alone. And self-destruction comes when we're alone, when we feel alone. That person that is staring in that reflection, there's technically two. That's your partner. That's your number one. And that's a person that will always be there for you. So when we're feeling alone, when we don't have the support, when we don't have the love and the guidance, either we get it like you did, come into the program, you have other people around, I said, how's your friend group at one point? You're like, they're so fantastic. Here's the things they do. I said, great. And then we also forget that we are our own team. So that's a little nugget for everybody. That's like a free coaching session with Cris. So congratulations on that. So if you want to take that, I think that can help you elevate, because you already have the foundation for that. So please appreciate and say good morning to her because she's worth it.
So I think, Cici, when you said earlier, about looking in the mirror and feeling ugly, I think any acne sufferer listening has definitely said the same thing to themselves a few thousand times. I know I definitely did, where I would look in the mirror and just be in absolute tears because all I saw was the acne and it made me feel so, so ugly. And it's like that internal thought process where we start to bully ourselves, right? And I think for me is when I started catching myself and being like, no, that's no way to speak to yourself. Like, if I was talking to my best friend who was dealing with this, or I was talking to one of my children who was dealing with this, would I say those things to them? 100% no. You would be like, no, you're beautiful. Your acne doesn't define you. You are worthy. So I think when we can start catching ourselves and all that negative self-talk, and we start reprogramming how we talk to ourselves, it can be such a powerful strategy. And it's not an easy one, right? It's not easy to stop yourself. But I'm so glad that you brought that up because I know that so many people feel that exact same way.
This is one of the latest shifts that I had. We get so fixated on the future self of us, the future of us, the Cici with no acne, right? And we wait to love ourselves until then. But who's doing the work? It's the person right in front of you. It's the Cici with acne. So she's the one that deserves that love even more so, because without her, there would be no future Cici with no acne, right? And so, yeah, don't wait to love yourself until later on when you have clear skin. Love yourself for showing up, for doing the work now. I think appreciate that person that's doing all the legwork for you so that you can enjoy it in the future. And I think to me that helps me put into perspective this where I am right now, and to love the person that I am right now without the result that I am still waiting for.
100%. Yeah. I feel like you would be such a phenomenal mindset coach because every time you're like, I have something else to share. I'm like, please do. Cause this has all been so, so powerful. And, as Cris and I preach, this mindset component is so vitally important. It's one of the most important parts, but everybody skips over it. No one gives it enough credit, enough merit, thinking, oh yeah, there's no way mindset's going to, change what's happening with my skin or with how I'm feeling. But we've seen borderline miracles happen with people when they finally adopt this mindset. And, we had another client very similar to you. I don't want to say her name just out of privacy reasons, but she had a very similar journey where she came in, she had a lot going on, past situations that were impacting her. And her skin wasn't one of those things where it cleared up overnight. She was with us for a long time. And for me, when I look back on her journey, what I'm most proud of for her is her mindset shifts, and how when she came in to when she left us, she was a totally different person because her mindset had changed, her confidence. She worked so hard to repair that relationship with herself, even though her skin took longer than the average person. She never gave up on herself because she held that future image of, if I give up, it's all of this work I've done has been for nothing. And she eventually got to her where she wanted to be. And the two of your journeys are just so, so similar to me, and just your personalities as well. So I just, I really do want to highlight, exclamation mark, underline the importance of mindset.
We only ever work in the present. We always want the future. We dream, and it stays a dream unless we have tangible things we can check off and execute to make it a goal, right? So that goal, then it's completed and we don't have acne. So we have today to work on that. Tomorrow never happens. Yesterday's gone. But when we're a teen, we start to change. Body starts to change. For women, obviously, breasts are most noticeable, right? Men, the voice. We're like, hey, as adults, we all make comments to our friends. We're like, oh, look at your little girl growing up, right? We know what that means. So that's hard. That's hard because now you're exposing certain femininity or masculinity. Everyone understands it. What happens to that teen in the mirror? Most gorgeous teen. What do they do and look at themselves in the mirror? Very few people say, look at you, hotness. There's always a flaw. Always a flaw. It doesn't have to be acne. My nose is too big. My eyes are too close. I've heard it all. Okay. Like there's 700 teens in my house all the time. So when we have that, and then we start to get acne with already that mindset in that we're not good enough. Do you see how easy it is to carry this? Mm-hmm. This now becomes a trauma-like response. Cici, you said it. It's like I'm in fight or flight, and I'm fighting with myself. That's the biggest component. I have no idea. Out of all the people in the world we choose to fight with, ourselves is like the number one on the list. I don't get it. So as people start to morph, then they start to carry it. Then we start to put makeup on it. Then we think more is better. Then we're like, why isn't this going away? And all of a sudden, then we have a relationship and it doesn't go well. Now that compounds. So you see, and then where our grades aren't where we need to. So we keep stacking. We keep stacking what we call the failures. But I think you nailed it. You have never given up on yourself, not once. There was days you wanted to. And I remember there was days where I said, you and I are in chats every single day, even if I'm saying, Cici, I'm here when you are, right? We needed to do that for a couple of weeks because that's emotionally and mentally and physically exhaustion hidden. So who extends that to the wee teens? Because we don't. They push us away. All I'm saying to everybody is we are carrying past trauma. So traumas are a couple things. Stress is you stress so happy, like weddings and getting a dog, but then
going on vacation.
Going on vacations a bit. I'm going to put that under trauma as in like car accidents, because that's what it does to people's bodies. I'm not kidding. Sidebar here. We go on vacation, skin clears, you eat what you want. Look at me go. You come home. What happens?
Flare.
Big, huge flare. Now it's even longer again. So that's the same thing with mindset. As soon as we tell ourselves we're ugly, as soon as we live that past trauma, as soon as we don't allow to live into the emotions, and I'm truly committed to, we must live in the emotions to understand what we need to make that dream a reality, to hit our goals. We can't just slough them off and say, I forgive. No, I don't forgive you. I'm moving on from you. I've just determined that that's done. However, you know what? I'm so worth it. So I know that's a long tangent. However, what I see time and time again with clients coming in, and Cici, I mean, you could probably attest to some of this, I'm not sure, is it started way before you came in with us. It started way before you even knew acne had a mental psyche. It's all of these compounded effects. So we're not kidding. When mindset, that one person Katie was talking about, with 1 week of her releasing, it was a set trauma for her. It's her verbalizing it. Her face started clearing immediately.
It was incredible. Like I've never seen anything like it.
We were like, what are you doing? Like there's no way. And we watched that transition. And as she brought up more information and started working with people to understand what that was, the face it literally just receded.
I'm still like awestruck when I think about it, how her just like releasing that trauma and speaking it out loud and working through it, how her skin just like, it was incredible.
Which is similar kind of to yours, Cici. I just want to touch on this and I want you to walk us through that journey. You came in, I would say your acne is what I call under surface, meaning it's there. On surface, you can kind of see, maybe some little divots or some hyperpigmentation, stuff like that. It wasn't as profound as, people may come in with. It wasn't like elevated, huge cystic. But they were underneath. And I remember a couple months into it and it all came to the surface and it looked worse. And I remember, this is so bad. I didn't sign up for this. Why is it worse? Right? Yeah. So from that moment, did you want to quit?
Oh yeah. I remember telling you, I'm like, my skin was better before I came to you guys. What's going on?
Yeah. Hey, what's happening here?
Yeah. That's common.
So common. It's so common that it gets worse before it gets better. And I think in our society, Cici, we've been led to believe that, I think it's, you take a pill for a medication for something and then all of a sudden you feel better. That's the mindset that our society's in, where we're not used to having to work through the flare to get to the other side. So, in full transparency, your skin will most likely get worse before it gets better. But the biggest thing is what you did, Cici, is you didn't stop there and give up and say, oh my God, no, I'm stopping, I'm quitting, this is not for me. you were like, nope, this sucks and I'm going to keep going.
Cici's mindset also. So you know that fight or flight she was expressing when she was in that stress mode. So when her skin flared at that moment, she wanted all the research. She wanted to know what was going on, the mechanisms, the minerals. Cris, don't leave out any detail. Cris, I need more detail. Cris, you're not giving me enough detail. Right?
Yes.
So that was this. So it's neat to watch that. And now Cici expressing that pattern, because once you catch yourself in a pattern, you know how to fix the pattern. That's the most beautiful thing. So for everybody, when you're judging yourself, when you don't know how to deal with something, look for the patterns in your life that you keep repeating, because that's where you start. Is that fair, Cici? Does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly. Even Katie was saying like earlier, like you feel you're in control, right? But in reality, it's just a facade. Like you think it's not. It's just a trauma response to the whole situation. So, yeah.
So Cici, I would love to know, over this journey you've been on for the last little while, what is something that you're most proud of for yourself?
I think the one that I'm the most proud of is learning to have that healthy relationship with yourself. I've always been self-aware, but I was self-aware to try to fix myself. But what I came out of is not only was I self-aware, but I used that knowledge to better my relationship with myself, to be your own best friend. And I think you can't put a price on that. That is so important to have that relationship with yourself. Because like what you said, like you only have yourself, and you're the only one who's going to show up for yourself. So yeah, that would be my biggest takeaway.
I love that. And you want to know what is something that I always think about is the ripple effect, right? Because you made this decision to feel better and you've started, improving your mindset, your mental and emotional well-being, it creates this ripple effect in your life, right? You're a mom, so you have children. It's going to ripple out positively to them because you changing your mindset and how you view yourself, it has that beautiful positive domino effect where it impacts your children, but it impacts your relationship with your partners and then your friends and then your family. And then that ripple effect just keeps going outwards because you decided to be brave enough to work through this to feel better. To be honest, that's probably my absolute top favorite thing about women that decide to really be brave and courageous enough to do this for themselves, because they don't see that ripple. And sometimes I think it's hard to see, right? But as you're feeling better, it creates this incredible effect. And that's the thing I love the absolute most.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's so true. Like you said, with your relationship, and even for myself, like, I don't know if you remember, Cris, like I had this huge aha moment. It's like, wow, like I actually figured out what my purpose was, which is huge. Like there's so many people who are in their 50s, they don't know what their purpose is, right? And now, since I've left you guys, that's what I've been working on. And I know exactly what I want to do with life. And that was a gift. Like I was able to look within, look inward, and have that relationship with myself. And now, like, I believe in myself. I can do those things. I can be that. And I can't wait to do those things.
I'm so excited for you. This has just been such like a heartwarming chat today. And I'm so glad that we had you on, because I think I've said this so many times, but these shifts that you have is so profound. And the fact that you know what your purpose is in life, all from deciding to, want to clear up your skin. And nobody would ever put those two together, like that you would find your purpose from working through your skin. Right. And it's so incredible. Mm-hmm. Cris, do you have anything to add to that? I know I'm kind of hogging it a little bit.
Cici, so when we ask people to come on to the podcast, right, you fill out a form saying, yeah, I'm interested. Here's my big takeaway, these types of things. I want to read a couple sentences that you put in there, if that's okay. It's not over. I've read it. I don't think you would. This is how raw we are. Like there's no preempting anything. There's no filter. Because I want everyone to hear your words when you're not sitting here being like fired out with all these different questions. And I want them to hear your words as a true person. And the other thing just before I start is your true purpose. Remember I said the eyes?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have to tell. I was going to say you didn't have to tell me because I saw it. However, I can't put words as to what the meaning is, but that is what I mean. Your purpose just beams through your eyes. So congratulations on that work. So let me just read this, okay? So these are Cici's words. All of us have habits that trap us into cycles of pain and self-destruction. To me, it was an all or nothing belief that was coming from a never or not good enough mentality. Instead of going through the protocols with grace and compassion, whenever I would make small screw-ups, I would berate myself to the point I would self-sabotage. It wasn't perfect, so screw it. Or I'd overfixate on things until I would undo the progress that I'd made with my skin. Accepting reality, my healing journey is taking longer than I can afford financially. See the mindset shifts because we put money at the forefront of things. So do you think that still resonates, Cici, all of that?
Yes, definitely. I'm glad you read it because I wanted to say that, but I forgot. Yeah.
Well, I like to say it because, again, it's, one of the questions is we say, have you ever spoken publicly? And it's like, no, and that's nerve-wracking, right? Who likes to get up and do some kind of speech unless maybe you're a publicator, right? So outside of that, I do have to thank you, Cici. From the bottom of my heart, you were the very first client that came in as a whole package, meaning you were eating, you were watering, you were doing all the things to grow as that flower should. You came in educated. However, the difference of that full package is what you allowed me to do as a coach is you allowed me to elevate with all of that. So I had to come and I had to learn a different way to coach you. I had to elevate my knowledge. I had to simplify my responses. I mean, we all know how this brain works. I had to learn to also nurture when you needed to be nurtured. I had to ask you to stop when we needed to stop for that mindset. And I needed to push you beyond that. So you taught me that. You are the client that forever be in my mind as the person that allowed me to elevate my coaching. So thank you.
Wow. Chris is going to make us cry.
Yeah, me and Cici are going to cry. It's going to be a domino effect.
Yes.
But it's true. You do. It's ever in my heart. So very grateful for that.
You've taught me so much, Chris. Appreciate you. I'll never forget that. Yeah. So thank you.
It's so incredible because, we have clients come in and they're coming to us for help. They're coming to us so they can up level what they're doing. But, I think that's great that you share that, Chris, is so often the clients that we have are actually up leveling us as human beings as well, because I can't even count how many people we've worked at this point, like well over 2,000. All of those clients have taught us something. It's up-leveled us in a different way. It's taught us to grow as a human as well. So I think it's such a beautiful relationship between coach and client because you're both helping each other grow as a human being, even at like a soul level. I think it's such an incredible thing where the clients are coming to us for help, but they're also improving us as well. So I think it's an incredible relationship. So I have one final question for you, Cici, as we wrap up, because like I said before, you've been so open and transparent. And I know there's so many listeners out there that have been so appreciative of you being so open with us. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for that. And there's one final question I have, because I think there's one mindset obstacle that holds so many women back from getting the help that they need. And it's that they don't feel worthy of the support, and they almost don't feel worthy of investing in themselves, investing the time, investing the money, because so many of our clients, they're moms, they're caregivers, and they feel guilty putting themselves at the top of the to-do list. So what would you say would be your best piece of advice for somebody in those shoes?
Yeah, that's something I totally get. There's that finance barrier. I remember that was the biggest one for myself because at that time I was a stay-at-home. So there's only one finance coming in, right? The biggest one I would say, and I think the one that really made me decide, is that you have to believe that acne is not just a superficial problem. It really is inside. There's so many, it's a deep issue, right? And it's an issue that requires you to work with people who are knowledgeable. You can't do it on your own. You can try. I've done it all. Believe me, I've I've done it all. But you can't. It's just one of those things that you need to tap into someone else and help you in this progress, right? And that's what I did. Like, and I am so grateful that I did that. And you know, even though I came out of it and I don't have clear skin yet, I'm not turning to you guys and being like, that was such a waste of money, because I feel like that all that work that I put into, it's not a waste. It's all being put in the bank. It's an investment. I haven't seen the results yet, or I have a little bit, but I haven't fully reaped the full benefits yet, but I will, right? And you just gotta stick through it. And the knowledge and the insights that you will gain out of it is just incredible. You know, like what I said, like learning to have a relationship with yourself. That's something I wish they teach us in school. But now you're given that opportunity to learn about yourself. You're given the opportunity to just not have to worry about this problem on your own, right? Like as a mom, you feel like you have to do everything. You're the one who has to take care of everything. You're taking care of everyone else. But this is your chance to just not be a mom. Have someone else take care of you. And clearly it's something that matters to you if you have been thinking about it so much time trying to figure out what's wrong with you, right? So if it matters to you, then invest in it. It's worth it, right? Even if you come out of it, like for myself, I don't have clear skin, but it's so worth it.
It's, you know, I love to have that analogy where it's like when you go to university or college, right? You invest time and money into getting your degree or your diploma, and then you're done. And for so many people, they don't walk out with this super high paying job that they've gone to school for. They've built that foundation of the knowledge that they need to get to that end goal of what they want, where they continue using what they have. Because you build this foundation for yourself when you're at school, and then you apply your tools and your resources and you keep working at it through the years. And it's now that you have this knowledge that you've invested for yourself, you get to take these tools and these resources and you get to keep applying it. And I think one important mindset shift for a lot of people is I want you to change that verbiage to I'm in the process of transforming my skin and I'm getting closer to my skin goals every single day. Because it's those simple verbiage switch, right? Where you're just in the process. That doesn't mean you're not going to have clear skin. It's just you're still in the process. So this was such a beautiful share, Cici. Thank you so much for coming on today. This was a great first client journey to start the new year with. And I'm so pumped to watch the rest of your journey as you get close to that goal every day and as you keep healing and feeling better and celebrating every single win that you've had. So thank you so much for being a part of letting us be a part of your journey. It's been really incredible. Awesome. All right, everybody. That was another lovely episode here at the Clear Skin Chronicles. We'll see you again next Wednesday.